As simple as that.
That's the first time, and we're live. Wait a second. That's my rendition of a heart. To be clear, because there's a lot of that. Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of that in this announcement today. So I'm going to leave it there.
Quite funny for those of you that get that right from the beginning. Sam hasn't really done this before, actually never done this before. So he was asking, what do we do? How do I know when we live? Like, it's so funny, all the little quirks that we take for granted from going live every single day.
So it's interesting. So I've done a live Zumba class with Jono, with Elroy, where we both had like left feet going at it, and it was fun. And it was cool. And then I did a 3 a.m. or 2 or 3 a.m. Live performance. I think I sang some songs at the 25-hour workout, which was super late in the night, and there were probably like 40 people online. And there must have been
we were there. The fishy crew was there with you.
Yes, exactly. Well, you guys were. I mean, 3 a.m. in the morning. I woke up for that.
It was afternoon. I think there'd been quite a few mezcals and tequilas consumed already at that time on this side.
I think there were a ton of mezcals and tequilas consumed there. At least that's certainly the feeling I got. Geez, we got some great people rolling in here. Hello Herman, hello Adele, hello Beverly, hello Jay, Dom, others, and the team are rolling in. They love your hair, Sarah.
You know what, Sam? It's not very often that it's washed and brushed. It's normally in a bun, but I thought for this occasion I would have good hair today. I think by the end of this live it will probably be up in a bun, but I thought we'd start looking a bit more presentable.
Well, the team loves it. I commented on it before we went live, which was cool. Hey, so some trivia. So this morning I did a workout. It was in prep for this session. It was one of your workouts, and I want to ask you to guess. So it was one of the last 6 workouts you've done, and there were some burpees at the end. And there were a ton of, let me leave it at that.
Well, I mean, burpees at the end kind of includes every single
no
workout,
clue.
pretty much.
There's no clue in that.
I mean, the last 6 workouts I've done, I did one with Dommy. There was the Maroon Monsoon with Greg.
Yeah.
There was the I'll Be Back, the Terminator. That was a good one.
Yes.
And then there was the 10 Den with Louis. I can't remember the others. Have I missed it?
So it's totally one of those. You nailed it. It was Battle of the Best, and it was such a good workout. I needed it this morning. I woke up and I was like, I want to get it there. But you know what it reminded me of was you guys had, it was a Battle of the Best. It was a Saturday.
Yeah, Dommy
and you were like 1 a.m. I think, and Dom, it was like 8 a.m. right? 1 a.m. and you gave it the best, and there was cool fun. And then Dom's mom was in the background, and it was just the most awesome workout. So what I'm going to do in today's announcement, I'm going to be wearing the Survive and Thrive bandana just on my side here. Sorry, Dom. I was in Team Kravitz for the month, and after this workout this morning, it just felt right. So anyway, good to go.
We have a lot of people with us.
That's great. That was my trivia for this morning. Great. And Greg, yes, Maroon Monsoon. I deliberately didn't choose Maroon Monsoon because I knew that I probably wouldn't be able to be here tonight if I'd done that. But Seri did put me through my paces with Dom. Hello, the deaf community, and welcome to this special announcement. Seri, it's such a privilege to be live with you. As you said earlier, it's not my, if you don't know me, my name is Sam. I'm CEO of Jeff. I do a lot of work in the background. It's not my role to be here in the foreground with our incredible instructors. They do a far better job than I can. That is testament to that is when I did the live workout or the live Zumba and I had 2 left feet, to be clear. Jono and I were pretty much the same in terms of our dancing capabilities that time. But I'm here today because it's an important announcement, and I've had a long association with Seri that means a lot to me. And so here we are today. So the big news, the reason for being here, that Seri and I are here, and you see me on your screens, is to let you know that after 2.5 years of incredible work, Seri is going to be moving on from Jeff. We're grateful for the piece of Jeff that Seri has built. It's been an outsized piece. And we are so glad that she remains on as a shareholder and a supporter. But to be clear, outside of that, we're also sad. It's a big news. It's a big deal. Seri is a big part of this community, has been a part of your lives for these 2.5 years at great personal cost, but also at great personal purpose. So the purpose of today's live session is to, one, share the news with you about Seri's moving on, and two, to celebrate Seri's Jeff journey in her time here. And we're going to do both those things today. I'm going to hand over to Seri in a moment to say that in her words, but I'm totally going to give her a little bit of time, because I think let me give you another 30 seconds by telling you that for the rest of this live session, after Seri gives this to you in her own words, I'm going to walk you through the story of Seri and Jeff times, her words. I'm going to tell you what it means for Jeff. Seri's going to tell you what it means for her. Seri and I want to talk a little bit about our working partnership, which has been a real privilege for both of us. And then we're going to finish with a toodaloo, but we'll totally wait for that. Here, there's Jono in the messages now. Seri, let me pause it there and hand over to you for this announcement in your words.
Yeah, I mean, I have been quite anxious about this announcement. I think mainly because like when one of us instructors leaves, it's very different than when like someone in our marketing team leaves, or someone in our finance team leaves, or someone behind the scenes that the community doesn't know. They would have like zero clue that they were gone. And for us internally, we feel that loss. But I think when instructors move on instructors leave, it's such a big thing for the community to digest. And I've been so anxious about this announcement, I think, because the community hasn't taken our instructors leaving very well, to say that mildly. Like, we see quite a lot of aggression sometimes on our social media posts about what's wrong with Jeff, or why are they leaving, or why is Louis gone, and why are Jono and Jules taking a break, or and I've been quite anxious because I'm choosing to leave. For me, I'm choosing to leave for something different. I'm choosing to leave for personal reasons. I'm choosing to leave for my family. There's a lot of reasons of why I've made this decision for me, and I've been so anxious because I don't want there to be like an outbreak or an outcry by the community in a negative way. I want people to miss me. I want people to be sad. I want people to like reminisce on the times that they've had, especially if they've been with us from the beginning. But I feel anxiety because I don't want there to be like this outpour of outrage of like, what's wrong with Jeff, or what's going on, or and so for me, I think I want to say that first up. I was like, if you have any love or any kind of positive feelings towards me, the best thing that you could do for me and my anxiety right now would be not to make any negativity or any posts that are negative on social media, but rather if you could honor me with the positive stuff and the good memories, that would really, really mean a lot to me. There isn't any angst or anger, or there's no bad feelings of why I'm leaving Jeff. It's actually the opposite. It's been so amicable, and my wishes for needing to move on have been so well respected. And so I just wanted to say that right from the beginning. There's so many reasons why I think this is the right call for me and my family right now. And I'm not going to go into any of those, but I just wanted to say thank you. This has been a really difficult decision to make for me and my family. It's been 2.5 years that Sam mentioned, has been like 10 years have been fit into 2. There's been so much. I think there's been like over 400 workouts that I've been a part of, which is just absolutely crazy. I have moved houses 4 times since being at Jeff. I've moved countries, I've moved states.
Oh, I think we're just losing Seri there for a second, and we'll be straight back as soon as she comes back into the room. But if you just joined us and didn't hear the earlier news, and Seri will be joining me back in this room in a moment. But after 2.5 years of incredible work, Seri is moving on from Jeff. We are so grateful for the piece of Jeff that she has built, and we're also so glad that she remains on as a shareholder and a supporter. We're also sad, and that's Seri has become a big part of this community, and that's what this stream really is about: is sharing the news with the broader community as well as celebrating Seri's Jeff journey with us here.
Sorry, I'm back.
If you we have Seri's back. Nothing like a little bit of
Jeremy left in the car, and then everything switched to Bluetooth.
Oh my gosh. The things that go on behind the scenes that no one knows about that you have to get. By the way, I felt like that was very it was right in the middle of or towards the end of you explaining, Sir, but back to you.
No, I think it's just been such an amazing journey. I think we're going to go through a little bit of that journey now, but I just wanted to say thank you to the entire community and to everyone that's been on this journey with me. And I'm obviously not going to be leaving Jeff. I'm going to be still with Jeff, just as I started, which is as a community member and shareholder actually. So I'm still very invested, but just going in a different direction now as far as my career goes.
Yeah, and so you said if people have love for you, and my goodness, is there an outpouring of love for you, and all deserved, so deserved, it is. I think that it's amazing for me to see, people. Everyone has journeys in their lives, their careers. They join companies for periods of time. They make incredible impact. They, for personal reasons, move on into other careers, and that's the way of life. And yet, of course, because you're so, as you said, the instructors hold a very special place in the community's heart because of the inspiration you provide, because of the work you do. Of course, provided and enabled by an incredible team, which is something you've said time and time again. Like, there's no such thing as a one woman or one man show. It just doesn't. It's not the way it works. We have the incredible Azra in the background streaming us now, making this all happen. We have, and there's so much more to it than that. But yet there is such a public profile and such a weight, I think, that is held by the instructors over the time. If we take it back to the early stages, and I want to actually get into the story of Seri and Jeff Times, because I think that really, as part of this. And thanks, Azra, for bringing up the story of Seri and Jeff Times in top right you see there. And I want to run through that now, but I also want to say before I start that it's amazing to me that even in what is right for you and your family moving on from Jeff, that you still hold the community so close and so in such thought in your heart. And I just want to honor you for that as we navigate this time together. Okay, so I want to work through. Sarah, you okay? Can I work through the story of Seri and Jeff? Okay, please. I know you. Please feel free to interrupt me whenever you want. I'm going to get myself around this. But I was quick on the draw, and for those community members who don't know, back in 2020, Jeff was a small team and really focused only on one-on-one coaching. And as the pandemic hit, we ended up having to close down our Josephine offices. Everyone went home. Jono took a green screen and a camera back home, and we decided we were going to try and launch these live daily workouts just to serve the customers where they were. And that happened in March 2020. It very quickly, together with a partnership with Vitality, blew up into quite a big daily event. And so, off the back of Jono and Jules and the incredible work they did in their home with the broader Jeff team and support, we decided to search for another unicorn, for more instructors to help us do the good work that Jono and Jules and their family were doing already. And so the hunt for the Jeff unicorn began. And this was the image that went out on social media, which I bring in here. By the way, thank you, Liesl. I'll do my best to tell the story. This is a difficult story to tell, to be clear, because we're talking about Seri moving on from Jeff, but I'm so pleased to seat it in the story of Jeff. And so I'm going to continue with that. And we searched for this Jeff unicorn. And let me tell you, Jono and I poured through like reams of videos that came in from people. We asked people to actually record a session, like a live session. And Seri was one of those. Now, Seri, as many of you know, is a super athlete, like a pretty strong competitor and wants to win. And she went hard at this. And anyway, it was easy game to select Seri from the group of contestants. And Seri began with a 6 a.m. slot. Say if I remember, is that right?
You know, Sam, the background of this is when Jono reached out to me, because I've obviously known Jono for many years. And when he reached out to me and said, like, come China in classic Jono terms, come and apply for this, like, we want you in our team. I told Jeremy, I was like, I'm going to apply for this. And he's like, you'll be so bad at this. And I was like, I know. And I was like, how am I going to do this? And he's like, just do it. What have you got to lose? It's COVID, like, whatever, let's do it. And that's the journey of, like, I would suck at this, but let's give it a go.
Well, you certainly didn't suck at this, but that is a really funny background. Thank you. And so we did this test, and Seri came on board, and immediately Seri and Jay everything was locked down. We hadn't met you; it was all digital. In fact, for the first several months, we didn't get to meet each other in person. Eventually, when I saw you, I was like, wow, you're taller than I thought you were. and it was. Do you remember that meeting when we ended in the Wall Street offices? It was cool. And we had done so much collaboration before then. And you and Jay, alongside John and Jules, alongside Dirkie in the Netherlands, alongside Kath and others, you really let people into your homes back then. And if I can ask us to move to the next slide, you really did. You moved into people's homes, and this was your home, I think, in Hart Bay. There's Cody in the background. That is Cody, right? Yes, yeah. It's Cody in the background. There we have everyone, team. We have Jay's dressing gown, which became it became absolutely iconic. Iconic. He'd come in there in the morning. Seri would call him grumpy. He'd take off his gown eventually, or maybe the start. I think in the early stages of doing the walkouts, he'd start with the gown, if I remember correctly, and then eventually he would come up. But this was an important part of the early stages for Jeff, and it was actually, in many ways, we ended up coming through COVID as a result. COVID was something which gave us an opportunity to serve our customers where they were. And it also fundamentally changed our business in the process, and Seri and Jay were a big part of that. But lest we forget, it was only and I don't think many people know this. You will if you just think it through. But I certainly didn't make it known to myself. But 2.5 years of work that we've been working on with Seri, and for 2 of those years she's been in the US. So as if I can ask you to move to the next overlay. That's both Seri and Jay decided to move to the US. I think it was off the back of some NASA work. I remember there was a lot of NASA discussions at the time, and Jay just started. What an amazing opportunity! And Seri and Jay packed up and headed off over to the US of A. And that was a big deal. It was moving countries, but also it laid the foundations for what has become collaboration across 7 hours of time zone difference. Waking up early to join meetings. You led a team. We're going to talk about that in a moment as well. You led a team in that time across time zones, but you also played a really important role in that time. And we found a way to make that work. You know, it's funny, when you really want to make it work with people, you could have just said that was it. But instead, everyone lent in, and as if you can move to the next overlay, please. This is when we started launching the 4 p.m. classes. So this was one of the examples.
We actually ended up moving that from 4 to 5 or 5:30, I think. Okay. In the beginning, we said it was going to be 4, and then we moved it to like 5 or 5:30. But we literally went from being every day in South Africa to being every day in the US. We did Monday to Thursday, 5:30 p.m. every single morning for us, but afternoon for you guys.
I mean, it was magnificent. It also was peculiar because, like, who works out at 4 o'clock? At least that's what we thought. And then people started working out at 4, 5, and 6, and then you had a catch-up crew which came through, and that was the first time we started talking about a catch-up crew, I think, and so that the catch-up crew was born. But that was, despite moving across time zones in an impossible kind of setup, we made it work. We made it work beautifully. I want to shift gears a little bit from the story to family for a moment, and this next overlay you'll see pictures Seri and Jay's wedding day. And I think the reason I wanted to include this was that Seri, throughout the big life events, and of course Kaya was born in this time as well, and you've got the fourth Kravitz on the way now as well. It's quite something to you let community into your life, and willingly and openly, and the community embraces you for that. It's part of what allowed you to inspire people in your tenure here. And I think what I'm thoughtful on is just the notion of the weight of that. And I've seen a few comments come through in this stream at the moment on people saying, you know, I understand, like you're choosing other things over this, and that doesn't in no way takes away from the most amazing power and impact you've had in the last 2.5 years. I think that's something you want people to know as well, right? And you live
very
on.
much so. I think it's really important for me. You know, there's quite a lot of people, especially in this day and age, where their goals are to be like social media influencers and be able to make that their job and share their lives and get paid for it. That's never been my goal. Like my goal has never been for like more followers or to be an influencer or like the social media stuff for Jeremy and I actually in our relationship is one of the biggest problems that we have in our relationship, because Jeremy isn't a social media guy at all, like doesn't have anything on his phone, and it's been my job essentially for 2.5 years, and it's been such a privilege because it's been literally just me sharing my life really in a very authentic way. And it's one of the reasons why I'm so grateful to you, Sam, and to Jeff, is that there's never been any limitations set on me saying like, oh, you can't post this. Also, I'm quite a grounded person when it comes to my values. So I don't think there was ever anything that I would be sharing that would be like, why are we sharing this type of thing? But for me, sharing my everyday life has been such a privilege. But like you say, it's also been hard, right? Like everyone like knows my daughter. Some people have named their dogs after her name. Like I get messages like at the moment being off social media, I've been getting a lot of messages saying we're missing our daily fix of Seri and Jay. And like it's super interesting because when I'm sharing, I'm not really ever sharing with the idea of I'm sharing for other people, or I'm sharing for likes, or I'm sharing for exposure. I'm just sharing because social media is the best ever like external hard drive of my life and my memories. And it's been such a blessing and a privilege to be able to be sharing my life and also to be so accepted by a community in my true authentic way. You know, I never ever put makeup on in a live workout because I realized I was going to have to go out into the world one day and they would have to see me, and I don't wear makeup on a daily basis, and I put my hair in a bun, and I just feel like I was so accepted for who I was, and for who I put out there was exactly who I am internally. And obviously there's a lot that we don't share, but that also comes at a cost and it comes at a price, and it's been such a blessing, but it's also been hard, right? Like 80,000 people thinking that they know everything about my life, or that they're a part of our lives, that they're best friends with us, and we'll meet people and they'd be like, we know you, but you don't know us. And that is the thing. Like we've been coming into people's homes every single day for 2.5 years, but they haven't been coming into ours. And so it's been such an interesting journey, but geez, it's been amazing. It's been such a privilege. But at the same time, like you say, it's been hard as well.
So very, and I think the reason I wanted to showcase the family here and talk about this is that it is true. It has its toll. It takes its toll, and yet I know that you've been committed to inspiration and impact for so many people over so long. I know that's not going to change either, but it's going to change form from now. And I was thoughtful on a comment that came through off the back of your post earlier this afternoon, inviting the community to tonight. Alison Smith said, "Oh my goodness, the baby is not a baby anymore. She's gorgeous." And this picture kind of depicts that, right? Like that was some time ago. I'm also just thoughtful on the broader family that you have brought into the community's life, Seri, over here, and how willing and engaging and amazing your family has been. From Bex, your sister, who you ended up doing amazing challenges with, and letting us into your sisterly relationship. You did cross time zone workouts with her at one point. I remember you training Jeremy back in the garage at home with a goldfish stick on it. Of course, Popsy, your dad, in the community, everyone knows Popsy. He was also on Mr. Harris, was on the socials earlier, and started his journey with Jeff with coaching with Dom, which was just something else. Your brother Paul, who did the one-on-one, I think, with you earlier this year when we were experimenting with more coaching, and of course, and I think importantly, your mom, Sam, who inspired you, who came through, at least in my experience, in a lot of what you came out in the courses, which is something you spearheaded in many ways at Jeff. And I just want to bring that conversation into this celebration of you, is the broader family that's been included, and of course, we spoke a lot about him earlier, but your incredible husband, Jay, for all his support. Speaking of which, one of my highlights, as if you don't mind going to the next overlay, was the collaboration with Goldfish. I've only got 10 of these slides and it's hard to do all of this 10. We're almost, we're now at number 7, so we're almost there. But I wanted to bring this in because I felt like you guys flying across the States or driving down to San Diego to work out with the fishies was one of the things that we all loved, and when it showed us taking advantage of your location there and the proximity to the fishies and the work that was done, and it was such a fun time. I know I saw Bridget on here earlier commenting and sharing just love for you. That was a special time.
The best time. I think we did 5 workout parties there with them across these 2 years, and one of the biggest blessings is that, like, I didn't know Bridget and Dave. Jeremy and I had actually gone to one of their concerts when we had first started dating at Shimmy's, and we talk about it all the time with them as well, is that we actually now regard them as some of our closest friends. We have a little Kravitz pool WhatsApp group. We chat to them all the time. I call Bridgie. We speak about our family. When we go visit Jeremy's family, we stop in there and we stay at their home. What a gift that has given us as well. With them doing those workout parties, the gift of friendship has just been so magnanimous in this journey with Jeff. And those workout parties are possibly the most fun times I've ever had at Jeff. Like, I actually feel so sad that people couldn't be in the room with us. Like, we were speaking about it last night, Jeremy and I, like, we had 5 of our own private, like, gigs with the fishies whilst vomiting in a bucket and working out and having, like, tequila shots in the background. We always had, like, a massive party afterwards with them, or it's just been, those times were so fun. And I feel like it also kind of brought a lot of attention and light to the fishies' insane music as well, which during lockdown they were only doing online, like most musicians and bands. And it was so cool that we could use their music in our programs. Like, Jeremy and I have gone back to our very first program, and it's all the fishies remixes. It's just so cool that bond was able to be formed. We were in the right place at the right time, and the memories that come from that and the friendship is just going to be forever.
It is, and of course, one of the things that lives on is the fact, I mean, Jules is mentioning it now, but Julie Hattie was mentioning it now, but, you know, whether it's Vibe with Your Tribe, that program is available. Like, this is one of the wonders of digital technology, the Goldfish workout parties. I'm going to go do those at some point. It was super fun, like jamming down to the fishies.
Well, exactly right. That's the thing, right? There's, like, what did we say? There's, on the web app alone, there's over 320 Seri workouts. Which
means more overall, because the web app was only launched in, like,
you could do a different one for a year and a half, and you still wouldn't have repeated our workouts, which is quite crazy. And that doesn't even include the ones that we went live onto Facebook, where we were playing the music in the background. And I mean, it's just such a fun journey.
No, it was the best. It was the best. And there's a lot of the best happening in this video now. And anyway, this is real privilege to be here with you, sir. But as I'm going to ask you to move to the next overlay, and one of the things that happened just before you went on maternity leave was we launched our first challenges. This was last year, February, and Jonna launched a fitness challenge, and you launched a strength challenge. And we have a total of 500 people sign up for that. It was actually quite important. It was a major pivot in the Jeff journey to start these programs that people could sign up for and do at these fixed length programs, which I think a lot of the industry is defined by. And yet we find a way to bring personality, interest and freshness to this, and of course, community. And so I want to just mention this was, it was one of the things that I've appreciated about, and I'll talk about this later in terms of our partnership, but one of the things I've appreciated about Seri is their ability to read the community, to understand what they need, to help define products, with naming for products, shape of products, things that people want. And it was a real privilege to work with you on this. As next slide reveals Seri's bun. and this was the invitation to the community session with you earlier this year. And I think the bun is iconic, and of course not today. You've had a lot of comments on your blonde straight hair, and you are looking wonderful. But the bun has been iconic, and I wanted to bring this in here because I feel like in many ways it became every single morning as you got into your workouts, you get the bun would come up, and it would be part and parcel of your authenticity. I think, sir. I mean, you mentioned this earlier, whether it's got to do with however you present yourself, but I think that was something which was a resonance with people from day one, and one that will be remembered forever. I have this final overlay on this. The story of Seri and Jeff Times is of you and your one more. This is you in the community. And I realize there will be one more, there was one more, and if there isn't one more that comes up now, it was you with your instructor crew. And it's not a problem if we can't put the overlay up, but it was a picture of you just 6 weeks ago with your instructor crew here in Cape Town. And I think when we talk about Seri, we need to talk about Seri the leader. And one of the early things that happened outside of you being a community leader was your appetite for leading others, was for sharing who you were and leading others to realize their potential. And I think one of the things that you and I have resonated on over the time has been the study of leadership, the importance of leadership, and not just for the things that you can do with your own two hands, which you did great work on, but also the things you can do with other people, through other people, the achievement of results through others. And I think, which is really for me the kind of the crux of leadership. And I think watching your journey here at Jeff grow into leadership and leadership of the instructors who adore you and have loved you, and of course are able to use this platform that you've helped create as they stand up and shine even further, has been a major feature of your time at Jeff. And while we don't have a photo up, I just want to absolutely mention that as a major part and contribution of yours to this Jeff community, even though so much of leadership is behind the scenes and through others. I want to, sorry, Seth, you want to say before I move on to
I just wanted to say, obviously there's so much that the Jeff community doesn't know, right, of what this, I remember someone said to me, like, not long ago, they were like, oh, you do something else other than instructing, and I was like, yeah, instructing is actually like a very small part of what I did at Jeff, and I think a big integral part of that has been you, Sam. I know that I've mentioned it quite a lot of times in the past 2-3 weeks about how instrumental you've been in my journey at Jeff, and how amazing you've been as a leader for me, and how much I've learned from you, and how you've allowed me to be my true self, but also how much I've learned and grown in my actual leadership journey, and leading those instructors has been the biggest privilege for me. So much. There's one of the pictures. It's been such a privilege because obviously I come from a sporting background, and I come from a team sporting background, and you know, a lot of people always say to me, oh, I've had so much experience in business, and I've had so much experience leading teams, and I've had so much experience doing this and doing that. And then I see how they lead, and I'm like, your experience isn't equating to actually what leadership should be. And I think that I learned so much being in a sporting industry, in a sporting environment, and then learning from you and others at Jeff that you can succeed by yourself, no problem. But if you don't have a buy-in of a team, you're not going to achieve anything together. And relationship and people are the most important thing in your life, not just in the business world, but in your personal world as well. And that has always held true to me. But it's been such a privilege being able to build a culture. Like that's what we built in this little instructing team. It was building a culture, and it wasn't me alone, because if I didn't have the buy-in of every single one of those instructors, we would never have achieved what we achieved. And we achieved some pretty phenomenal things as a unit. And friendship has just been amazing, like, and being able to be honest with each other without taking offense, just such an amazing group of people. And I just want to thank you so much for allowing me to firstly lead this group of individuals, but also to thank that group of people, because they've been the most influential in my journey, because I've spent the most time with them. And what a group of people they are. And also what an amazing crew, with me leaving, that there still is, to take the community forward in workouts and in inspiration and everything else. And so I just feel really blessed that that's a team that I got to be a part of and to lead.
Sure, Sarah, and you led them incredibly well, and their love for you and the love for you and the performance. I think that's at the end of the day, the leadership journey is one of performance, and it's challenging to, especially in the fitness space, to build a team of people who collaborate really well together. In these environments, and I just take my hat off to you. I think when we first spoke, one of the things that we spoke about in our working relationship was like, what are your career objectives outside of Jeff? Like, what do you really want to do? How do you want to think about your career growth? And one of the big things there was this notion of girl boss.
I think my exact words to you was, I want to be a badass businesswoman.
Like a badass, like badass businesswoman, right? It's a badass, and I think when we spoke about what that meant and how to get there, it became clear that that leadership responsibilities and how to and how to navigate those. At the end of the day, we're all in. If we work, which I believe strongly we all should be doing, we're on journeys with other people, and if we are clear about where we want to get to, what purpose we want to achieve, then we can enroll and we can have high quality conversation about alignment with others on how to get there. And I think what has happened at Jeff and has been a meeting of what Jeff needed with what you wanted from your journey. And we are, of course, talking today about you moving on from that journey. And yet I feel proud of all of us, and you especially, that we were able to celebrate such an amazing journey here, in line with the way that has served you for a period of time. And of which you've served Jeff so incredibly well, and I think it's just I'm unbelievably I'm excited about it. But there's been a handful of partnerships in my career that I've held very dear to me, and powerful partnerships over my 17 years in business, and I can't use one of those, Sir. And very, very grateful for the work we've done, for the results you've achieved, for the people you've led, for the example you've set, and for now, I think it's always difficult to end well, and I think you're just doing that. Like it's archetypically difficult for people to end well, and yet here we are ending well, and strong as well. I think one of Greg's reflections to you in the lead up to this was just how authentic you are and how true you are to yourself, and you're doing that in a way which is with all stakeholders in mind, and I'm just deeply inspired by that. Deeply inspired by that. Thank you, Seri. I want to talk a little bit about what this means for Jeff, and I'll ask Seri what this means for Seri. And I think we've spoken a lot about this, so I want to say what it means for Jeff is that we're grateful for Seri and the incredible contribution she has made. Seri is now part of the community and not leading it, and that's one of the implications for Jeff. Seri remains a shareholder, and finally, the current instructors and the next generation of instructors can continue building on the platform that Seri has helped us build, and that's really the implications for Jeff. I think the other side is, I think there's sadness. I feel it, and I know others internally in the team do as well, and of course the community will feel it as well. We are losing someone for good reasons. We're losing someone who has otherwise been an unbelievable pillar of this community, and so there's sadness, and I want to acknowledge that. I also want to celebrate that. Like the work we've done here together has just been fundamentally like important. Very much so throughout lockdown when we served people at a time, which in serving them, we served ourselves. We literally, it was important for us to be alive, to feel like we were doing something important for people, and we did that. And as we come out of lockdown, we've moved through different stages of lockdown easing and people's behaviors, fitness behaviors changing, and we've done that as well. And Seri, you've been instrumental in that, as we've read the community, understood what they need, and how they need it. I have such unbelievable appreciation for you. Let me stop talking. What does this mean for Seri?
It means a lot of change, obviously. I mean, I stopped with Jeff at the end of September, which has meant that I've already had 2 weeks of no Jeff. And it's meant a lot more sleep. I've had a lot more sleep in the past 2 weeks than I think I have in 2 years. But I mean, I didn't make this decision because of time difference or because of mommyhood, or I can't not work. It's just it's been 2 weeks and it's been a fantastic 2 weeks, but I'm already like getting itchy and like what's next for me, and I have no idea what's next for me yet, to be honest. I think it's the beauty of this next chapter is figuring out where I want to go, but I definitely feel like Jeff kind of turned my life and my career in a path that I want to continue on, in leading people and working with people and being able to inspire and motivate, and maybe not be a community, but it might be a team of people in a corporate world, or whatever that may be. But I'm currently looking for work. I'm not in a mad rush. I'm enjoying my mornings with my child. I'm enjoying the extra sleep. But I think this next chapter is just change, really. It's a different season. It's a different chapter. We always talk about coming back to South Africa, and I think it's something that we will do in the next 3 to 5 years. But right now, our lives are also in America, and I think working here, earning US dollars, and starting a new chapter is kind of going to be what's next. But the actual what, I have no clue. But I'm really excited to figure out what that is going to be and what that's going to look like. And I do back myself quite a lot. I always tell everybody else to have confidence and that mental grit, and tell yourself how amazing you are. And I definitely do tell myself all the time. So I don't feel stressed about it. I feel like I'm going to land something great and something that I can be good at, and something that I can take my career to another step. But I'm not in a rush, and I have been more in a reflection kind of mode recently of just being grateful and not having to go from one chapter straight into the next, and being able to reflect a little bit and look back on the memories. And Jeremy and I went back on 2.5 years on Facebook on Jeff together. You can actually like go and filter by the year, and we laughed till we cried at like some of the posts and some of the workouts. And, you know, he's been so pivotal in this journey for me. We speak a lot about like there's no Jeff if there's no Seri, but there's no Seri at Jeff without Jay. And that guy hated every second of having to be live, but he hated it in such a fun, authentic, quirky way where, you know, he joined me every single morning for like a year and a half of doing workouts on a social media platform where he hates social media, supporting me, doing live workouts, sometimes with an absolutely terrible attitude, which I think a lot of people could relate to. But just feeling so grateful for all the people that have kind of played a role in my journey. You know, my sister doing such big challenges with us, 2 45-day challenges, which is 90 days, like 3 months of work, going live every single day. And then just my actual journey with you, Sam. You know, I've dealt with a lot of interesting leaders in my lifetime, especially being a very strong female. And a lot of men are intimidated by strong female, a lot of women actually as well. And it's been such a blessing and a privilege to be led by a male who is just wanting his employees, and especially the women, to be bigger, better, more amazing versions of themselves. And I've learned so much in the way that we've dealt together. In 2.5 years, I can't think of one blow up that we've had or one disagreement. Anytime we haven't agreed on something, it's been so amicable. We've had such amazing conversation, and it's such a it sets such a kind of high stepping stone and boundary for me on what I will accept in any job moving forward, on who I want to be led by, because I feel like that should be the precedent in today's kind of corporate world. And I just want to say thank you for giving me the opportunity, to you and Jono, and then from there, thank you for mentoring and nurturing me and allowing me to just be myself, because if you hadn't like kind of given me free reign, I wouldn't have been able to have done what I've done, and I'm just so grateful for you.
Well, I mean, Seri, thank you for your kind words. Today is about your celebration. I'm so privileged to be part of it, and I think there's a lot of testimony to doing incredible work together over 7-hour time zones for 2 years. And I think what often happens in my world is where you find amazing people. Like, we should be setting them free. We should be aligning all the time, and otherwise we should be setting them free, because, geez, I mean, you know. Anyway, I'm not going to get into leadership philosophy. I have so much love for you, and I have so much respect for you. I'm so sad to see you go, and yet I know it's right, and I think that's what everyone can feel here tonight. You are an incredible woman. You're an incredible human. Your impact has been felt over tens of thousands of people, and will continue to be felt in the piece, in the outsized piece of Jeff that you have built. And we are eternally grateful for everything that you have done and that you represent. Also, our paths are going to cross. I know that. We've spoken about
Absolutely.
it. I'm excited about that. Please, I would love and pass on the community and our love for Jay, for the entire family as well. But I do have one thing I'd like to do. I'd like to bring in a few people, just briefly, into this little live stream here. Some special people who have been hanging in the wings. Thank you, incredible instructor team. And what I'd like to do, very briefly, is stand up and give Seri a standing ovation for the incredible contribution she has made to the things that she has built, to the way she has led, and to send her on her way. Because this is not a total goodbye. This is a sort of a toodaloo, and see you soon. And for now, we're going to stand and a standing ovation. I know Greg's going to be the loudest. Let's go.
Oh, I love you guys so much.
Thank you, guys. And Seri, if there's anything you want to say to your incredible instructor team before they exit this live stream.
Oh, it's just been such an amazing journey. You know, Kathleen was the first one that we brought on. Zita actually found her. And her journey at Jeff has been crazy, in the fact of like the roller coaster of Jeff and startup companies, and she's still here, and she's still a positive light. I actually came back onto Facebook today and I saw her post. It's mental health awareness day today, and I saw her post, and it's just amazing having someone that has been such a constant in Jeff. And I'm not going to go through each person, but me and her have been there the longest. And then going full circle with everyone here in this room, you know, doing the most epic challenges with Greg, having amazing conversations and being inspired by Edgar, having my former Queen of Darkness with Amy, and actually getting to meet her and hang out with her has just been such a privilege and a blessing. Getting to cook with Adrian, having Jade and my friendship go full circle, getting to know Joe and how authentic and amazing he's been, and then obviously working with Gregor on the best challenges, and then my friendship that I formed with Domi has been a friendship that is going to go a lot further than Jeff. Someone that I could trust, which is really hard in this day and age, someone that I could be and speak my truth with. And it's just such a blessing and a privilege to have been able to work with these people and the people that have left since here. I've worked obviously quite closely with John and Jules, and with Louis and with Kate as well. And it's just been such a blessing being with this crew and this unit of people. And I'm just forever grateful that I was able to lead them and that they were able to impart so much on my life as well.
Team, it is so good to have you here. Thank you so much for coming. If we have final little hearts just before we roll out of here, that would be incredible. Thank you for joining us, and have a wonderful evening. Thank you, team. Thank you, Ozzy, for bringing them in, and for managing that. Sarah, we're up at 50 minutes. It's been
an obnoxious
no,
amount of time.
we can talk forever. We can talk forever, and we're going to talk more, and that's the way it is. But there aren't enough words, there are not enough emotions or emoticons that we can use. There's been a constant stream of love coming your way throughout this live cast, and just ridiculous love coming your way, and totally deserved. We're going to soon close with the final toodaloo.
Yes, I put a video together. It was very hard to just go 90 seconds, but I've probably spent about 24 hours in total over the last 2 weeks finding some highlights, and I've put a 90-second video together as well, which we can play at the end of the toodaloo, which is just kind of like some of my favorite highlights of my time at Jeff as well.
Amazing. Well, let's do that. And I think I started this conversation by telling the community the news that you're in line with your strength, in line with you taking control of your career and your life. I think let's have a final toodaloo, and I'm going to hand over to you for our final toodaloo. Before that happens, Seri, you're amazing.
Thank you, Sam.
It's been a privilege for me and for everyone who's watching here today, and others have come before, and major love for you. Okay, but over to you for the final toodaloo.
Thank you so much to this community. You guys have been amazing. You have been my best friends when I have felt my loneliest. You have picked me up when I felt my weakest, and you have been the most amazing support to me and my family for the past 2.5 years. I know a lot of people speak about how inspirational me and my family are to you, and how much we've given to you, but you don't quite understand the value that you've given to us. And so I just want to say thank you. And for the very last time at my time at Jeff, I want to say toodaloo and goodbye.
Love you, Sarah.
My name is Seri Harris. Super excited to be with you here today for a 5-minute workout. Hello.
Hi. Say happy Monday.
Hello everybody, happy Friday. Friday then, it's Saturday, Sunday. Friday then, it's Saturday, Sunday. What? It's Friday.
One, 5, faster.
3, 2. Final 9 minutes. No recovery. We got for those hips don't lie, honey. Those hips don't lie. 5, 4. Yes. I'm not laughing at you.
You are.
Toodaloo, toodaloo, and goodbye. Toodaloo, and goodbye. Toodaloo, 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 and goodbye. Toodaloo, toodaloo, and goodbye. Toodaloo. For the very last time, toodaloo, and goodbye.